Here's a fast fact for you. There are more insects than humans in this world. For instance, there's as many dust mites in your bed as there are humans in this world. Now, while most of them are pretty tiny, much like the mites, some of them are actually pretty big. Today we're going to be looking at 10 massive insects that are actually real. Stay tuned to meet the number one guy on our list and be thankful that it's already extinct. With all that said and done, let's begin, shall we? Number 10. The Titan Beetle. The Amazon rainforest is home to many creatures, both large and small, but especially large insects. However, when it comes to Amazonian giant insects, none of them compare in length to the Titan beetle, Titanus giganteus. The Titan beetle is the largest known beetle in the Amazon rainforest and one of the largest insect species in the world. They can grow up to 6.6 inches in length. Its size is not only for show, with its stature comes great strength as well. This absolutely gargantuan insect has mandibles that can easily snap a pencil in half, and reportedly they can also rip into human flesh if it decides to do so, of course. As big as they are, it is believed that these insects don't eat. Although we don't know much about these creatures, people have observed them refusing to eat or drink, although it must be said that these were captive beetles. Even so, scientists still think that these giants rely on the calories they have stored while still in their larval stage, like some smaller beetle species. Believe it or not, this beetle is actually a draw for adventurous tourists, and many ecotourism agencies in South America advertise pictures of them in their pamphlets. Like many beetles, the Titan beetle can emit a loud hissing sound when it is threatened. Number 9. The Giant Water Bug. These enormous insects, also known as toe biters and alligator ticks, can reach lengths rivaling some of the largest beetles in the world. Giant water bugs can grow as long as 4 inches. Known as voracious predators in the streams and ponds where they live, giant water bugs can deliver a painful bite. Hence the reason for their nickname toe biters, and with their giant pincers. When they grab their prey, they use their beaks to interject them with poisonous digestive juices. They wait a few minutes, then suck up the resulting liquid dinner. Yeah, that's just tasty, I suppose. Think of it as the most disgusting milkshake you've ever tasted. Nonetheless, in Thailand they are considered good eating, and are often attracted, harvested, and collected using black lights which draw in the insects. Number 8. The Giant Burrowing Cockroach. Cockroaches are the bane of my existence, and for many people out there, they kinda feel the same. I've yet to see anybody not cower at the sight of a flying cockroach, and those are just normal-sized cockroaches, mind you. The giant burrowing cockroach, also called the rhinoceros cockroach and the litter bug, is the largest and heaviest cockroach in the world. It weighs up to 30 grams and reaches about 3 inches in length. These smooth, shiny brown cockroaches never have wings and live in permanent burrows in the soil where females care for their young. They can be found in the open forest in northern Queensland. Oddly enough, this is one roach you may want to keep around. Unlike the other cockroaches, the rhinoceros cockroach doesn't have wings, and also it isn't considered to be a pest and actually plays a very important role in its ecosystem by breaking down dead leaves. Some people have found that they make good pets and can live for up to 10 years in captivity. Number 7. The Tarantula Hawk. Ugh, these are a common sight over here in Arizona. Contrary to its name, the tarantula hawk is not a large bird of prey. It does, however, live up to the second part of its name. At just under 2 inches long, these enormous wasps are so large and ferocious that they are capable of hunting and feeding on tarantulas. According to scientists, female tarantula hawks like to tackle tarantulas because the spider's large size makes them a perfect meal for the wasp's larger than average offspring. Tarantula hawk wasps have to drag their sleeping spider, which can be up to 8 times their weight, to a burrow, lay an egg on the tarantula, and seal up the tunnel. The young wasp devours the tarantula in order to develop into an adult, eating the non-essential organs first to keep it alive for as long as possible. That's cheery. Their legs have hooks on the ends which they use to latch onto their victims, and their stinger, which can be as long as 1/3 of an inch, is rated as among the most painful in the world. Luckily, they are mostly docile unless harassed, but this is one mean bug you wouldn't want to encounter. Number 6. The Atlas Moth. Common across the Malay archipelago, these bird-sized insects are considered the largest moths in the world. They're so big that their cocoons are occasionally used as purses in Taiwan. The total area of their wings can measure more than 60 square inches, and their wingspans can measure at least 1 foot in length. Also, they can be over 1 inch thick. Despite their size, this is one moth that won't eat your clothes to shreds. These giants actually have no mouths and don't eat once emerging from their cocoons. All of their adult life, 2 weeks out of it, they rely solely on the fat they stored while they were caterpillars, or as I like to call them, glutton worms. Some say the moth is named after Atlas in Greek mythology. He was a titan condemned by Zeus to hold the sky upon his shoulders. The name refers to the sheer vastness of the moth's size. In China, the Cantonese name for the moth translates into snakehead's moth. This refers to the outer tips of the wings that look very similar to the head of a snake. Number 5. The Goliath beetle. Based on weight and bulk, Goliath beetles are strong contenders for the title of largest insects on Earth. Native to Africa, males of these species can grow over to 4 inches long and can weigh as much as 100 grams in their larval stage. They typically don't move much in the mornings when it's cool and stay in a lethargic state as well. But once they are warmed by the sun, they become more active. They'll fly away when they're frightened. Though they are believed to be primarily vegetarian in the wild, they have shown a voracious appetite for protein in captivity, and captive beetles are often fed dog and cat food. Out in the wild, Goliath beetles eat different types of plant material, fruit, dung, and remains of dead animals. They are an intricate part of the food chain, eliminating decaying matter of both plants and animal origin. Think of them as the burly garbage men of the insect world. On top of all that, they're also one of the oldest species of insect in the world. They've been feeding on Earth's detritus for over 300 million years now, and there's no sign of them ever dying down. Number 4. The giant weta. Endemic to New Zealand, giant wetas are enormous bugs that are related to crickets. The largest giant wetas can weigh in excess of 70 grams or about 2.5 ounces, making them among the heaviest insects in the world. Obviously, being as heavy as a mouse can only mean one thing. One, that these giant creatures have lost the ability to fly, and although it looks like a cricket that had too much gym time, it can't jump as well. They are long too, with bodies measuring as long as about 4 inches, not including the legs and antennae. Aside from being absolutely huge, giant wetas also have other characteristics, setting apart from other insects. One of those differences, they breathe through their exoskeleton, and they also happen to have their ears on their knees. The insect's name comes from the Maori word weta, which means god of the ugly things, and man, that's actually just really harsh. It did earn the moniker because of its frightening looks, however, so I guess I can't blame them. Because these giants are only found on islands, they are an excellent example of island gigantism. And since they're only found on islands, they are highly susceptible to extinction. In fact, New Zealand's giant weta population is currently in decline, landing these insects into the endangered species list, primarily due to predation by rats. Number 3. Queen Alexandria's birdwing. The largest butterfly in the world, Queen Alexandria's birdwing lives up to its name with a wingspan of more than 1 foot. Found only in remote regions of Papua New Guinea, the first specimen ever found was taken down using a shotgun. Let that one sink in there for a second. Though it was only discovered in the West in 1906, this gentle giant is already considered endangered by the IUCN. This is primarily because of encroaching development in its native habitats, mostly from palm oil plantations. Aside from its size, which would deter most would-be predators already, this butterfly has also developed other defense mechanisms. It is a poisonous butterfly, and it obtains its poison from the toxic pipevine plant. Animals that eat it will get very sick and vomit, but the effects are usually temporary and it's almost never fatal. These animals remember that the brightly colored butterfly made them very sick and will avoid all butterflies with similar markings in the future. However, their colorful markings as well as their size also attracts a totally different kind of predator: humans. The species is very highly prized by butterfly collectors and fetches a very high price on the black market due to its rarity. Now it's time for today's best pick. Today's photo was submitted by a subscriber, and it appears to be an absolutely ginormous grasshopper. So if you see a photo online that boggled your mind, send it over to us and we'll do all the research for you. Who knows, might even be featured on a future video. Number 2. The giant grasshopper. Today's photo shows a grasshopper of gigantic proportions. During the course of this list, we've seen some humongous insects, but do they actually grow as big as the one in this photo? Well, fortunately, no. There is one main reason why grasshoppers, or any other insect for that matter, wouldn't be able to achieve such a size, and it's their body structure. Insects don't have an internal skeleton. What they do have is a hard outer covering called an exoskeleton. And all insect scientists concur that due to the inherent size limitations of having a viable exoskeleton, insects will never grow to, well, let's say the size of a human. But what of the photo, you say? Well, there's an easy explanation for that. People love to manipulate photos in Photoshop or GIMP. In fact, giant grasshopper photos have been in existence since the 1930s. One popular photo, which also made rounds on the internet a few years ago, shows a man holding a huge 3-foot-long grasshopper. Many were quick to believe that such a monster exists, but the truth is not as exciting. The photo was from Cole's photography studio in Montana, which specialized in creating amazing images for sale. In the case of the giant grasshopper, well, it was a very popular postcard back in the day. Just for the record, the largest grasshopper ever recorded was only around 4 inches long.
I saved the best for last, but first, I have a quick challenge that takes only 5 seconds to complete. If you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just try it, it really works.
Number 1. The griffon fly. Most popular textbooks make mention of giant dragonflies that lived during the days before the dinosaurs. That is only partly true. Real dragonflies hadn't evolved back then. Rather than being true dragonflies, they were the more primitive griffon flies, or Meganosopterans. Their fossil record is quite short. They lasted from the late Carboniferous to the late Permian, roughly 317 to 247 million years ago. These guys were absolutely massive, measuring roughly 47 centimeters long with a wingspan of 75 centimeters across. Thankfully, they went extinct a long time ago at the end of the Paleozoic era. Although insects can't grow quite that large in today's world, there are a few that are nevertheless large enough to give even seasoned entomologists a good fright. Did we leave anything out? If so, let us know in the comment section below. Want to watch more videos about amazing animals? Click on any of the videos you see on your screen. As always, thanks for watching everybody, and I will see you all next time. Later everybody!